One of the secrets to exposure for your business lies within supporting Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is why the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce is here to connect Black businesses from the desert to the sea. Let's join hands to empower and sustain our community. By becoming a member of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, you can grow your business and increase your clientele. With our innovation, we'll generate new businesses and get new customers. And we'll connect new mindsets with businesses from across Southern California to help bridge the wealth gap. Let's connect, build, and grow together. Join us now at blackchamberofcommerce.org.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is your weekly wrap-up chamber, whatever we're calling this podcast. And I am your host, Nikisha Bond, VP of Corporate Affairs over here at the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce. And as always, I am so excited you decided to join us today. What is the weekly chamber wrap-up? Well, we're going to talk about all the events that are going on. We're going to do a little bit of training and just catch up. So make sure that you leave all of your comments in the comments section. Make sure that you like and share this with all your friends and family, just so they can know what's going on with the chamber, because I always start off with my announcements, and I'm still going to do that, but I'm going to pause and we're going to intersperse some of the leadership tips that we were talking about last time, because I think it's always important, because as leaders, we need to always be growing. And sometimes a lot of these things that we're talking about, they're not new things. Of course, you know this. You are a leader, but you sometimes need a reminder. And so I'm here to say, hello, I'm your reminder. So I'm excited that you decided to join us. So what do we have going on with the chamber? I want to make some of the major announcements that are coming up, because tomorrow, if you are in the Hollywood area or Beverly Hills area, even if you're not, if you're up in the LA area, they are going to be having a table read event. There's a psychological thriller film, and so they're going to have a whole bunch of actors. And if you're an actor, you can actually join the table read. So make sure that you go to the website and make sure that you get signed up. This is going to be so exciting. I remember when I was younger, I'm going to date myself. I went to a taping of Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I had so much fun, you guys. It was so exciting to see the behind the scenes, to see all the actors, the takes, the blocking, the lighting. You know, you don't think so much goes on into one of these productions until you get behind the scenes. And so this is your opportunity to get behind the scenes or to even get in the room. This is what I love about the chamber, is that it's really a platform for all of us to get an opportunity to get into the room. Because how many times do you get a chance to get invited to a table read? Not very often. And if you're a member, one of the things you know about membership is that your one membership gives you access to all 15 chapters. So Beverly Hills is going to be doing their table read, and I hope that you join them. You need to get in the room for things like this. And even if you don't want to be an actor, even if you're not going to read for this, just get in there, because you might meet somebody. You might get to know somebody. And I can tell you, the most significant strides that I've ever made are the relationships that I've made. And a lot of that comes from being in the right room. And you might say, well, what is the right room? Get into a room and find out if it's the right room and go from there. And another room that you need to definitely get into is going to be our business summit. I know you guys have heard me talk about this, and I know you're like, didn't we just have one of those? Yes, but this time we're going to be on the what? The Queen Mary. I have never been on the Queen Mary, so I am so excited. We're going to be staying on the Queen Mary. We're going to have workshops. We're going to have trainings. We're going to have all sorts of fabulous things happening. And on Saturday, they're going to have a casino night. So we're going to do like an awards dinner around 6 o'clock. And then about 8 o'clock, we're going to start doing our casino night. So if you want to have a great time, if you want to have a great date night, you want to have a little bit of a tax write-off and a little bit of fun, if you want to get some training, if you want to learn and get into the room and meet people, this is the one that you want to be at. So definitely make sure that you go to the website and that you go to events and sign up for the business summit. It is coming up so nigh. It's almost 30 days away, guys. We are on our 30-day countdown. And I can tell you, when I sent out the messages and let everybody know that we were going to be on the Queen Mary, everyone's like, ooh, Queen Mary. Who do you think you are? We're the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce. That's who we are. And we do things big. So if you have not been to one of our conferences, this one you definitely want to make sure that you go to. The previous ones, we've been in Long Beach. We were up in Palm Springs. No, not Long Beach. We were in Ontario. Now we're going to Long Beach. We've been in Palm Springs. And so I'm really excited to take this to the coast, because we've been in the desert. We've been in like a middle desert. but now we're going to be on the coast. We're going to be in a big city and on the Queen Mary. So make sure that you get your tickets today. There are more events that we have to talk about, but those are happening a little later in the year. So we're going to talk about them a little later in the program. But first, we're going to go ahead and get on to our training because learners are earners. Earners are learners. They both go hand in hand. So that's what we're going to make sure that we do. So first, let's do a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Good news for the Southern California business community. Now you can add your business to the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce Business Directory complimentary. We have been working tirelessly to build a list of Black-owned enterprises in Southern California. This is an excellent way for you to be a part of an expansive network and find your ideal customers, business partners, and vendors. So don't waste time. Visit blackchamberofcommerce.org today and add your business today.
Hello, welcome back to the weekly Chamber Wrap-Up Show, podcast, whatever. And I am your host, Nikisha Bond, VP of Corporate Affairs over here at the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce. And like I was telling you guys before, make sure that you sign up for the Business Summit. It's going to be a great event. Now let's get on to our training. So you might be asking, why are we doing trainings? Because that's what I want to do. And that's why we're going to do it. But if there's something that you'd like to see or there's something you'd like to talk about, please leave it into the comments. Whether you're watching this on the re-record or whether you're watching this live, because we'd love to get your feedback. And if you'd like to be on the show, we would love to have you on the show as well. So make sure that you go to the Southern California Black. Oh, no, actually, let me give you a different one. If you want to be on the show and you want to do, if you have a show or a show idea, you can go to edgetvnetwork.net. And that's where you can submit your show ideas. You can sign up to be a guest if you go to edgetvnetwork.net. Scrolling right there on the bottom. Okay, so I don't have my trusty Post-its because I wrote too many. And I don't remember how many we went over last time. So we're just going to start with the last 10 because I think I got through about 10 and I ran out of time because I started late. But today we were not as late, so we will have more time today. All right, so let's get into it. So what I did was I took a bunch of different leadership trainings together and I just kind of wrote out a couple of just pointers that I wanted to kind of riff off of. There's no particular order. There's nothing that's more important than the other. Take what resonates with you and leave whatever else for those who need it. That's what the tarot girlies say. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so what we talked about last time, I'll just breeze through them. We talked about leaders build leaders. So if you're the only leader on your team, you are probably a bottleneck and your success is measured by the leaders you develop, not the tasks you complete. So leaders build leaders. Number 2, stop doing their job. Every time you solve a problem for your employee, you're teaching them dependence instead of leadership. So don't do their job. Leaders manage systems. Systems manage people, which leads into number 3, manage systems, not people. Great systems, they reduce the need for micromanaging. And if you have to constantly remind people, your process probably needs work. I'm not going to get into that. We did that last time. Go back to the other one. Keep focused, Nikisha. I am. Okay. Number 4, hire for character, train for skill. Skills can be taught. Attitude, initiative, and integrity are much harder to develop. Number 5, clarity creates confidence. Most performance issues are not motivation problems. They're expectation problems. Ooh, I don't want to say stuff about this so bad, but we're going to keep going. Number 6, feedback should not be annual. Coaching isn't something you need to schedule once a year. It's how leaders create growth every week. We talked about that. Put the right people in the right seats. Don't try to force someone to be in a role they were not designed for. Great leaders match strength to responsibilities. That's your job as a leader. Number 8, fix the process before the person. Before replacing an employee, ask whether the system set them up for success. That's very important. Number 9, leadership begins with self-awareness. You cannot improve what you are unwilling to evaluate. Great leadership starts with leading yourself. And we're going to go ahead and start right here because I have something to say. And I said we're going to start at 10, but we're actually going to start at 9. Okay, so it's so important as leaders that we are self-aware. We have to know who we are so that we can not only be more successful when dealing with people, but actually help people on how to deal with us. Because we're not perfect as leaders. We're really not. And there's certain things that we do that might make other people, if they don't know about it, really frustrated or really angry with us. So one of the things that we can do as leaders is just kind of let people know, because we are so self-aware about things about you. So for me, example, I'm not a micromanager. I don't like to micromanage people. It's very annoying to me. I want you to be able to do your job, but I have to tell people that. I have to tell people that that's my expectation, right? That when I give you a task, you're going to come back to me with the answer. And I'm going to expect that if there's anything wrong, you're going to let me know. So if you don't let me know, that's on you, because I'm telling you now, that is my expectation. But I can't expect that from someone if I don't let them know that that is the expectation. So as leaders, we have to be not only self-aware, but we also have to communicate the things about us. Or if we can say, like, we're always late, or we struggle in these areas. These things help our team to help support us better as leaders, right? And I feel like it's a two-way community. It's not just one way. Okay, so let's get on to number 10. Number 10, don't fear failure, fear standing still. Leaders don't avoid mistakes. They learn from them faster than everybody else. How many times have I said this to you guys, right? Fail faster. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. You are gonna fail because you've never done it before. You're new to this, right? If you've never made $1 million, you're gonna fail the first time you try to make $1 million because you've never done it. But the second time, you're gonna be a lot faster because you already know how to do it. And the things that you mess up on, you're going to fail a lot faster at those because you're not going to be looking at those as stumbling blocks, because now you kind of know the way. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard as we're new leaders when we're going out there and we have a failure because we feel like everybody's looking at us and they're judging me and, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. But really, you have to build up that skill of, I can fix it. I can work it out. I can make it better. We can do this. We can do that. I got ideas. If you can be that type of leader, then when you fail, it's okay because you're always learning from them. You're going to fail and say, what worked? But didn't work. Okay. Stop doing what doesn't work, right? And do more of what works. I know it seems really simple, but sometimes just taking that pause as a leader can help us to say, oh, okay, let me do more of this stuff and let me stop doing that stuff because that stuff isn't working and this stuff is working. So that's why it's so important. What were we talking about? I kind of lost my train of thought. Fail faster. So don't avoid mistakes. You're going to learn from them. So just keep on doing it. Just know and build up the other muscles around being able to figure out stuff if you do fail. Being able to have what I talk to my daughter about is like the bounce back. Okay, that didn't work out. Great. What did we learn? What are we going to do? Have that process with you. So don't fear failure. That was number 10. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about different leadership tips. I kind of ran through the first ones. If you want to see the full one, we did the full episode last week. And this one, we're going through the last 10. So number 11, relationships drive results. People follow leaders they trust long before they follow the vision. This is really important because you kind of have to be who you say you are, but that doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, right? I think there's an expectation that you are as a leader going to have flaws, but are you aware of those, right? Do you have a trust within yourself? Do you trust yourself? Because as leaders, it's hard to lead other people when you don't trust yourself. How can other people trust you and you don't even trust yourself? So as a leader, we're always having to do that personal development, that self-enhancement, so that we can work on trusting ourselves. Because when we trust ourselves, it makes it so much easier for other people to trust us. And it makes it easier for us to hold other people accountable because we have a trust within ourselves. If we break promises to ourselves, how can we tell anybody else to keep a promise? Ooh, let that just breathe it through. I know, because I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me, right? I'm looking at me, right? You might be looking at me, but I'm looking at me too. I got to learn to trust myself. You got to learn to trust yourself. And when you learn to trust yourself, and the best way to learn to trust yourself, I'm going to give you a secret. Don't break promises to yourself. Don't break promises to yourself. I'm working on that. I'm really working on that because I've broken a lot of promises to myself. So then when I tell myself I want to do something, I'm kind of like, can I? I don't know. I'm a little concerned, right? So the first thing you can do, if you're having a problem with trust, right? You can't get people to buy into the vision because they don't really trust you. Start with building that habit within yourself. Make promises to yourself and keep those promises. That starts to build trust for yourself. When you build trust for yourself, then you start to exude that trust from other people because you're living it within. Okay. I don't know if that's exactly what that meant, but that's what I got out of it. So I hope you got out of that too. All right, let's go on. Number 12, stop micromanaging. If every decision has to come through you, your team will never learn to think for themselves. I've worked with a lot of leaders, and this is a big issue because you know everything. So it's a lot easier, right? When you have something to do and someone's like, okay, I'm going to help you. And you're like, okay, great. I want the help. And then they're like, okay, what do you want me to do? And you're like, forget it. I'll just do it myself. Or you give it to them and you're like, did you do this? Wait, did you do that? Hold on. Why are you doing it like that? Wait, I don't like that. I don't like that. You need to do it like this, right? And then you just forget it. Just forget it. I'll do it myself. I'll just do it myself. That's you micromanaging, right? And so I think it's really important for us to make sure that we are teaching our team how to think for themselves, teaching the man how to fish, so to speak. So if your team comes to you and they have some type of a struggle, instead of you just giving them the answer, help them to think through it. It does kind of feel like a little bit of like you're dealing with your children, but you want to teach people how to treat you, or you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say, like, you want to set that expectation of, okay, when you run into this type of issue, this is how you resolve it. So like my daughter's working with us. We work in the business. And so we're working through that. And one of the things is she's like, how am I supposed to do it? I'm like, well, I would have to go to AI and look at this and look at this and look. So one of us would have to do it. So is it me or you? Right. And she knows automatically it's got to be her. So if we both got to look it up, then the answer is going to go look it up. Right. So I kind of phrase it to her that way. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it, but that's the way I phrase it. So it's things like that, teaching your team how they can solve their own problems. And then the next time they won't come to you for that. But if every time they come to you and you, like a kid come to you to spell a word, can you spell this for me? Can you spell this for me? Alexa, can you spell that for me? Then they never learn how to spell. Eventually you got to teach them how to spell. Okay. So that was y'all, I be forgetting what number I'm on. That was number 12, stop micromanaging. Okay. Number 13, leadership isn't a title, it's a position. A position gives you authority. Your actions earn influence. Ooh, have you guys read that book, 10 Habits of Effective Leaders, or by John C. Maxwell? It's a leadership book, and it talks about the different levels of leadership. And a lot of times people think that because you're the owner, you are owed some type of respect. Because you have this title, you're owed this. But at the end of the day, people will give you a certain level, but they're not going to give you that true respect, right? It's not going to come from it truly being there just because you have the title. Because if you're not really good at your job, or you really can't do the things that you're supposed to be doing at that level, people psychologically will know that, and they'll kind of maybe like even sabotage you a little bit, because they kind of want everybody to know that you're not as good as this position is leading everybody to be, right? So it's like a perfect example, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, right? Is she a doctor? I don't know, but it's like, it makes you kind of question, right? It makes you think like, okay, you have the title of doctor, but you don't have a doctorate degree. So are you really a doctor? Are you just calling yourself a doctor? I don't know. Like, you're saying that, but like, are you really qualified? And listen, I don't even know her, right? So she could totally be qualified, right? Maybe she took all the credits, and maybe I don't know. Maybe she has everything and she just doesn't show. I don't know. But that question, right? It's like, why don't you just show me? Why can't I just know? Like, why you have a title and that gives you authority, but like your actions. I don't know if that's the one-to-one example, but I hope that the point was a little bit made there. All right, you guys, let's keep going. Okay. Number 14, build trust before you need it. Trust isn't built during a crisis. It's built through consistency long before the crisis arrives. True. Right? I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have anything to say on that? Leave it in the comments. But yeah, build trust before you need it. And I think we talked about that earlier when we were talking about trusting yourself. And so I guess if you work on trusting yourself before you have your team, by the time you get your team, hey, you will build a lot of trust with them. But, I think it's more, I guess what I'm hearing from this trust is more like integrity, having integrity, doing what you say you're going to do, being the person that you're saying you're going to be, at least trying, right? Efforting to do it. That's what I hear. I don't know. What do you guys hear? I feel like that's like, yes, but leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Okay. Okay, before we get to number 15, let's take a quick commercial break so that I can get a glass of water, and then we shall return, shall we? Yes, we shall. Oh, and we have to do some more announcements. We'll do some more announcements when we get back, and then we'll get back to the leadership training because we have 5 more to go.
Business owners are raving about the new talk show, Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace. Tune in as the top experts in business share their success stories, strategies, guidance, and advice to help you grow your business. With guests from the top companies to your favorite influencers, Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace is the show to watch for all things business. Our conversations are strictly business. We discuss new funding options, new business initiatives, best business practices, all things business explained. We provide you with the tips you need for your business, all in one morning business talk show. Be sure to tune in. Are you a business owner? Do you have a story to share? Are you able to help our audience? Then we want you on Strictly Business with host Rich Wallace. Visit the website at edgetvnetwork.net and select Be a Guest to schedule your appearance today.
All right, welcome back. We are on our weekly chamber podcast. We do this every Wednesday at 5 p.m. ish because I don't like to be on time. I don't know what my issue is. And you know what's so crazy? Sidebar is that everywhere else I'm like a time Nazi, but then on this, I don't know if you're allowed to say that word. Sorry, you know what I mean, but like really strict with time. But with this, I'm like, oh, I'll get there when I get there. I got the 5 o'clock hour, so I'm going to try and be better about that. Right? I'm going to try and work on my time. Anyways, let's talk about some other things that are going on before we get back to our leadership training. I wanted to let you guys know that we have, if you're a model or you want to be a model, we have a casting call that's coming up this Saturday, July 18th at 1 p.m. This is up in Palm Springs. They're going to be having their annual Legacy in Pink fashion show. And so this is an opportunity, a great opportunity to, if you're a model, we're taking models of all sizes, all colors, all heights, all ethnicities. We're looking for everything under the rainbow. So all ages. So please make sure that you go ahead, go to the website. You can go to, if you go to events, you'll be able to see the fashion show and I'll have all the information there. The fashion show is going to be in October, but this weekend, we're having the model casting call. So please make sure. And again, look at this, another opportunity. We have opportunities for actors coming up tomorrow, opportunities for models that are coming up on Saturday. And this is really what membership does. It gives you access to all of these amazing opportunities. And you might be thinking, well, how do you put on these types of opportunities? Join the chamber. These are put on by the particular chapter. So I know this is done by the Palm Springs chapter. The casting call is done by the Beverly Hills chapter. So if you're looking for making some influence in the world, if you want to have your name out there, if you want to be a part of something really big, you definitely need to make sure that you join. Become a member today. Membership is $200 a year. That gets you access to all 15 chapters, gets you discounts on all of our events, and makes you part of the member, part of the club. Because I know that if you tell us you're a member and you call me, you call Rich, you call anybody on the corporate board, you got our line, you got our phone number. We are invested in your success. We want to make sure that you're successful. Because to me, that's the whole goal of the chamber, is for you guys to walk out better business owners than you were when you first came in. That's the reason why I like to plug in these little trainings on this weekly podcast. Yes, we could just talk about the events that are going on, and that's great. But I want you to have an opportunity to grow as a person and as an individual. Okay, let's keep going because y'all know how I get. All right, so next we have Save the Date. So if you are in the Barstow area, they're going to be having their annual awards dinner that's going to be happening. I believe this is November 7th, 2026. Save the dates. You can go onto the website, click on chapters, click on Barstow to learn some more information. They're going to have some great speakers that are out there. They're going to have food. It's such a great time. Last year at their event, it was standing room only. They were going to sell tickets at the door, couldn't even sell tickets at the door. No room left. It was a completely sold out event. If there's one thing the chamber does, I got to tell you, we do awards dinner right. We definitely do awards dinner. Make sure that you go to our Facebook, our Instagram page so that you can see. I'm going to put the link up there. Make sure that you go there and that you check out the stuff that we're doing, because I'm telling you guys, we're having a ball out here. We are having a ball. And, you know, if you're in business, you don't get opportunities like this, right? It's hard to find opportunities where you can connect with people, where you can grow, where you can learn. Like, you have to seek all that out. When you join a chamber, that's the goal. The goal is to get connected, to get training, to get leveled up. That's the whole purpose of a chamber of commerce. Actually, you know what's really interesting? Sidebar, if you guys ever really wanted to know what is the purpose of a chamber. So originally, Chamber of Commerce used to be the conduit between the business, the city, doing business with business owners. And so they started creating these Chamber of Commerces so that you could have access to city opportunities. Now the cities do their own Chamber of Commerces, of course, which is why you see like Menifee Chamber of Commerce or Marietta Chamber of Commerce. That's where I live down in this area. So that's really where they came up. So now a lot of the Chamber of Commerce, like ours, become more nonprofits and are really here for a specific group. So that's why we're the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, because that's the group that we're trying to help empower. Of course, we're going to help empower everybody and anybody, but that's definitely our focus. And that's why you see LGBTQ chambers, you have Asian American chambers, you have the small business Hispanic chamber. So, and we connect with all of them, because for us, it's more about get in with your tribe and then connect with everybody, right? Find your tribe and then connect with everybody. Okay, I know, Keisha, get back to it. Okay. All right, so that's happening in November, Barstow. And then in January, we are having our Martin Luther King. It is an extravaganza. It's an event that happens. It's a weekend event. So not just Martin Luther King Day. And we do events not just in one county. This one is in San Bernardino County, but we'll also have a parade that's happening in San Bernardino County. We have this gala that's happening, the awards gala that's happening on the 16th. But then on the 18th, we're also going to be having a parade. Last year we had Brian Hooks. He was in our parade. He was our, what do they call the person who's the main person of any parade? The grand marshal, master person. That's who he was. So you can look at pictures of that. I think those just got posted on our Facebook as well. On Monday, the 18th, we're going to have the parade. After the parade, we have an extravaganza where there's going to be tons of vendors out there. So if you want to be a vendor, the whole city of San Bernardino is going to be out there because we have every single high school, every single middle school. I think we even have some elementary school kids out there if they play instruments or they have any type of thing. We have young kids, old kids. Everybody comes out there for this event. And we also have events that are happening in Palm Springs. They have a prayer breakfast. So usually we do a really big long live stream that streams everything. So if you guys want to watch that, you're able to do that too. But I'm really encouraging everybody to get connected. So if you want to be in the parade, if you want to, because we have spaces for people who want to be in the parade, maybe you have a nice car, maybe you have a business that you want to show off. That would be great to be in the parade. Or if you want to be at the extravaganza and you want to do a booth or something like that, make sure that you get connected. This is a huge event. This is our seventh annual event. So this is one of the biggest events that we do out of the year, our signature event. So definitely make sure that you come out for that. Okay. Yes, Nikisha. What else do you have? I think that is all I have for events today. But I do want to get back to our training because we do have a few more that I want to go over before I let you guys go for tonight. Okay, let's get back into it. All right, let's put our training hats back on. All right. Develop people, not just performance. The best leaders care about their employees, The best leaders care about who their employees are becoming, not just what they are producing. You guys, this is a cheat code. This is a cheat code in your business. I'm telling you, take the time out to learn the people in your business, to get to know them personally, not like get all up in their business and, start a lot of drama. No. But what are their goals and aspirations? Just know that this job that they have is not their life aspiration. We can all agree with that, right? Okay, yes. So what is it that they want to do? Find that out and see how you can tie in their personal goals with company goals. Yes, we're getting a little culty, but it's helpful. It's helpful, okay? Because when you do, now what they do subconsciously is they're working for what they believe their goals are, which are in line with the company goals. And now everybody's getting their goals together. So say you have somebody who wants to be a leader, they want to be a manager. What you can do is create a management program for them, right? And you're going to teach them all these different steps to leadership, all these different steps to management. Now, maybe their pay hasn't changed. Their job description hasn't changed. They're doing the same thing, but look at how their mindset has changed because you cared about them. And now they're going to take, what do you think they're going to do with all these management skills that you're teaching them? What do you think they're going to do with them? They're going to put them back into your business because that's the place that they're working and trying to gain that experience. So one of the things that I always like to tell employees, whether I'm leading or whether I'm managing an organization, is use this as a playground, right? I understand that this isn't the be all end all for you and you got things that you want to do in your life and goals you want to accomplish. I support you, right? So use this as an opportunity to grow. Use this as an opportunity to get to the next level of whatever it is you want to do by practicing here. Because when you practice here, this is a safe environment, right? I'm going to take care of you, right? You're still going to get paid. You're still doing your job, but you can practice all of these new skills here. It's becoming a win-win for people. And a lot of people, you'll be surprised when you give them that opportunity, actually become a little loyal to you because they're like, wow, they saw something in me. They believed in me. They invested in me. It's a little culty, I'm not going to lie. Low key, some of these corporate tricks do come from cult books. I'm just saying, but they work, right? And although they say there are no good cults, you could be a good person. And I'm not saying you should create a cult. I'm just leaving all that information out there for you to draw whatever conclusion you want. Okay, continuing on. Number 16, honest leaders create healthy teams. Transparency builds credibility. Pretending to have all the answers doesn't. I hate it when people do that. Don't you? You don't know. Okay, so what? It's okay if you don't know, but are you going to find out? Right? Somebody can ask you a question and you might not know in that moment, but your answer is going to be either, I don't know. Or it can be, you know what? That's a great question. I don't have the answer right now, but I'm going to find it and I'm going to get back to you. Look at the two. Look at how a leader is going to respond to that, right? How do you as a leader respond? How does that whole thing go down, right? So you as a leader have to also have that type of transparency, right? Just like you don't want to ask your team to do something and they're like, I don't know. And then you're like, okay, are you going to go do it? Right? You have to have that type of transparency too. Let your team know what's going on. Include them in what's happening. Have them be a part of some of the decision making, because diversity really is our strength. It really is. There is a lot of power in diversity, getting a lot of different ideas. Look at what happens when people just have one idea, only one source that they're getting things from. It becomes very diluted, very narrow, and you might be missing opportunities that are around. So when you're transparent about saying like, hey, we're really struggling to make sales. What are some of your ideas? You could hear employees say things like, well, we don't really need to do that. And I know that costs a lot of money. And, maybe if we did this instead of this, because they're ground floor, they see it, they're there. So the more you can ask them, the more information you can get. But it's hard to get information from people when you aren't being transparent, when you're trying to make it seem like I know everything. I've got all the answers. Just listen to me. Then people are gonna be like, okay, fine. I don't have to think. I'll just listen to you. I don't care. That's how they think. I mean, that's how I would think, right? Because if I can turn my brain off and let you just take all of the decisions, because what does that mean? That means that if you're wrong, it's all your fault. And if you're right, okay, great. We all win. We all kind of win, right? If you're right, we all win. But if you're wrong, it's just your fault. It's a lot easier for people to just not have any responsibility. That's how I tie that into the transparency, is being transparent with your team so that they know what you're going through, so that they can try to help you. Because most teams do want to help you. People want you to win. Your team wants you to win because they want to be a part of a winning team. And the only way they can do that is if you win. So anyways, that's what I think about that. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to know. Okay, where are we? Okay, number 17. Great leaders ask better questions. The quality of your leadership is often determined by the quality of the questions you ask your team. This ties naturally into coaching and problem solving. Isn't that what I just said? Look at me. I didn't even read that one. I already knew the answer, because it does. When you're able to ask great questions, you can produce better answers. Sometimes we keep asking ourselves the same stale, dull questions and keep giving ourselves the same dull answers. And so when we're not asking good questions from our team, that can be the same, like if you say, well, what happened, right? Maybe you can say, well, what could we have done to prevent this? That's a totally different question. What happened? We all know what happened. It failed. It didn't work. But what could we have done to prevent this? Now it gets the mind thinking in a totally different way. So as you as a leader can ask better questions of your team, they can give you better responses. When we're asking more from a logical perspective and not so emotional, because a lot of times as leaders, when things happen, because it does fall all on our shoulders, we can be very emotional about it. But when we can step back a little bit and have a little bit of a disconnect and start asking better questions about, well, what went wrong? What could we have done to prevent this? Were there any warnings? Did anybody see anything that maybe we didn't get? What are the other companies doing to solve this problem? These are all great questions. And like, what is wrong with you? Why do you guys always make mistakes? Why does this always happen? What kind of answers are you going to get? You see the difference? So the quality of your questions is really going to determine a lot of the quality of your answers. So as leaders, we want to make sure that we're asking our team really good questions so that we can get much better answers than just, why did you do that wrong? Because what's the first thing they're going to do? Lie, obfuscate, deflect, do something, because you now just kind of attack them and you put it all on them and you've made them the problem. But when I say, what could we have done to do better? Was there a failure in the system? Now I'm kind of objectifying it. So now instead of them having those personal defenses come up, they have their problem solving comes on and says, okay, well, I'm not getting in trouble. So at least I can do is solve the problem. Again, a little culty, but yeah, it's okay. Number 18, vision without systems creates chaos. Inspiration may get people excited, but systems keeps the business moving. Oh, y'all. I don't know why I'm feeling this one, because I definitely feel this one. Yes, because you can have a vision and it can be great and it can be big and you can be bringing in all of this business. But if you don't have internal systems that can manage things, right, that can help you to offload things, what ends up happening is everybody gets overwhelmed. And when everybody gets overwhelmed, nobody can think. And when nobody can think, people start making mistakes. When people start making mistakes, you start losing money. When people start losing money, you start getting overwhelmed. You see how that thing starts to cycle down? So it's so important that as we're growing, that we actually think about, well, what if this did actually succeed? Am I prepared? Because a lot of times, and let's be honest, we're not really thinking about the thing actually working out. Because if we did, we might have a different mindset of what we were doing. We could be just throwing spaghetti at the wall and thinking, well, whatever sticks, I hope that's great. But then what if it sticks? right? And now you can't get the spaghetti off the wall and it's staying the wall. And now you're paying the wallpaper, right? You didn't think about all of that thing because you weren't prepared for the actual outcome of what it is that you were trying to stick to the wall. So I think we have to go a little bit beyond just saying, I have this great vision, but how would I also support this vision? Now, it could be that today you can't implement that vision, right? But you should be researching, right? So maybe you can't afford our CRM system or something really fancy, but you should know that when you get the money, which one would you use? And that's how you should be thinking as a leader. So even if you can't buy the systems today, you at least know what they are so that when it's time to get them, you can go ahead and get them. I think that's really important. Okay. Number 19, balance big dreams with small wins. Big visions inspire people. Daily goals keep them moving. Great leaders need both. So this is strategic planning. You know, a lot of times as leaders, we're like, we're going to do this. Yeah, let's go. But there's no planning, right? We don't really know what the next step is. We're hoping somebody out there is just going to come and make it happen. And if you find one of those people, great. That would be wonderful. I hope you do. I really do. I hope you find that person. I hope that person is just there already in your organization. But in case they're not, you're going to have to give your team small goals to kind of get there. Say like, okay, the goal is to be a multi-million-dollar company. In order to get there, work it all the way back. And then step one, here's the first step we got to get. And then people see kind of like that thermostat that you keep building, right? We do step one, that's getting us towards there. We do step two, that's getting us towards there. We do step three, that's getting us towards there. We're not there, but we know that all of these different things that we're doing is getting us there. And that comes from strategic planning, from looking more than just today and tomorrow, more than just 30 days, even more than a year, right? Let's look at 2, 5, 10 years down the road. Let's look at growth. Let's look at systems. Let's look at the things that we would need, right, in order to support that big dream. That we're not just dreaming, but we're also putting in those little things every single day, that we're breaking it up, that we're making it smaller, and that we're doing it bite-sized, because that's how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Okay, and before we do the last one, we're going to do a quick commercial break and our last announcement, and then I'll go ahead and let you guys go for tonight. All right, hold on, let me find another one. Let's do this one.
Are you ready to change your life? Let us help you. At Youth Build Charter School, you can get a high school diploma and kickstart your dream career in no time. We offer high school diploma programs in construction, CNA, military, college, and entrepreneurship. If you are between the age of 16 and 24 and you want to manage your studies with a job, recover your credits, or graduate early, we can help you achieve your dream. Call us at 1-888-395-4408 or visit youthbuildinlandempire.org.
All right, welcome back, you guys. And today we were just doing a little bit of leadership training. I was letting you guys know great opportunities that are coming up tomorrow. There's a table read in Beverly Hills. On Saturday, there is the fashion show for model casting on Saturday up in Palm Springs. So make sure that you join for both of those events. Okay, now you guys have been waiting. And I can't say that the last one is going to be like the coup de grace. It's just the last one. But I'm here to give it to you anyway. All right. Work on the business, not just in the business. Ooh, this is good. This actually is a good one to end on. If your business can't function without you, your next hire isn't another employee. It's a better leadership system. This is really big because a lot of times I've seen in small businesses is that we never create the systems that allow us to take this from a small business to a large organization. We just never get there because what ends up happening is that we get busy with the day-to-day. And your efforts are enough to probably sustain you and your family. You could probably work in your business well enough, just doing it by yourself, not having anybody else to sustain you and your family. But if you have a vision that's bigger than just you and your family, maybe you want to do something that's nationwide, maybe you want to do something that's global, you're going to have to really make sure that you think bigger. You're going to have to not just work in the business, you're going to have to work on the business. You're going to have to be putting strategies in place. You're going to have to be putting systems in place. You're going to have to be thinking 2 and 3 years about, you're going to have your mindset so far in the future, right? That people are kind of going to think you're a little disconnected with reality. But that's really where you got to be when you want to do something super big. Because when you do that, it's going to force you to work on all these things that maybe otherwise you probably wouldn't do. Because you might be thinking, right now, I got this customer that I got to satisfy. I got that order that I got to fill. I got these problems that I got to deal with today. And that will always be the case. But eventually, you got to step back or somebody's got to step back and say, long term, this is what the business needs. Long term, this is what we got to do. Long term, these are the things that we have to have in place. So when you're working on the business, not just in the business, not just satisfying those orders, taking care of those customers, but working on the strategic plans, the 5-year, the 10-year vision, the goals, the big picture, the big hairy things that you got out there, that's when you're going to start to see your business change. Why? Because it's going to change your mindset. Because when you get caught up in the day-to-day, and I've just seen this from my own example, when you get caught up in the day-to-day of a business, it's draining as an entrepreneur. As a visionary, it is draining to deal with this bill, that bill, not because these things are hard, because they take a mental tax. Imagine if every single thing that you have to do in the business is like a penny from $1 in your brain. If everything just costs a penny, you might be thinking, oh, this is a penny, this is a penny, this is a penny, this is a penny. But if it's 100 things, it's all of your mental capacity. So then when it comes time to do that big vision casting, to take on opportunities that are going to cause more work, you mentally don't have the strength to do it because you've spent it all up doing everything that needs to be done in the business. So as entrepreneurs, we're always riding this fine line of having to be visionaries for what it is that we want next and having to be in the business. And so I think having a better leadership systems allows you to do both, because sometimes you don't have an option but to be in the business. I get it. You may want to hire all of these people and you can't afford it. You may want to get all of this stuff and you can't do it. So the reality is you got to do what you got to do. I totally understand that. But at the same time, there's got to be that time, and it's got to be forced time. You might have to give up something else where you're working on the business, where you're strategically thinking and you're getting excited about what's happening next. Because if it's only about this customer, this bill, this thing, and you're just day, you kind of forget why you even started this. You forget the freedom that you were looking for. You forget the big vision that you had out there to help your family, to help the community, to change the world. You forget about all that because you got to pay this bill, which means you got to go make that money, which means you got to make this phone call, and you just stay stuck. And so I'm saying this to you because I know this is something that I've struggled with. And if you've struggled with it too, I'm telling you right now, you got to get out. You got to work on the business, not just in the business, which means I would recommend everybody take one day out of the week. That's your strategic planning day. Even if you can't do it for the whole day, at least 4 hours a week where you strategically plan and get excited about your business, right? Get excited about what you got going on. Get excited about the next phase, the next venture. Even if the answer that you come up to is, how am I going to get the money to do all this? Don't let that be where you're at right now. Right now, just focus on the vision. Where do I want to be? And that's strategic. And this is what I would do. If I had all the money, if money wasn't an option, what would I do? Have those plans, the business plans, work it all out, right? And then what you'll see is that your mindset changes, because when those opportunities come, it won't look like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. That's going to be more work. I don't have time for that. I am so exhausted. It won't be that. It'll be like, oh, I remember thinking about doing this. And now look, it's right there. That opportunity is right there. And now you go grab it, right? So I want you to get into the right mindset of how we're able as entrepreneurs to think about those opportunities. It's because we're spending time working on the business, not just in the business. We don't just own our job, right? We're actually business owners. And those are two very small distinctions, but they make a big difference in your life, because if you just own your job, you just have a job that you work at every single day where you don't have a boss. You're the boss. You just boss yourself around. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I have no judgment. Because listen, that's a great job, right? Owning your own job, that is a great job. And for a lot of people, that's all you really need. But there are some people out there who, they got bigger dreams and they want things that are bigger. And so if you're one of those people, I'm just going to highly encourage that even if you have to work in your job all the time, at least allocate 4 hours a week where you work on the job, on the business, as a CEO, as the top person in charge. Like, you have a venture capitalist who wants to infuse tons of money in your business. What is it that you would even do? A lot of people don't even know that. So at least if you start working in that way, the venture capitalists might come along, because if they did, you would be ready. And what do we always say? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Yes. I love that for us. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this weekly podcast. I hope that you've gotten something out of the training. I know I've gotten something out of the training, but maybe it's just because I be talking to myself. That could be it too. But if you did, make sure that you leave a like. Make sure that you drop one of your helpful tips of leadership that you have into the comments, because I'm sure that we can all learn and grow from it. And with that, I will see you guys next time. We will be back Wednesday at 5 p.m. and we will be talking about all the things that are going on with the chamber. Make sure if you are an actor that you go to, let me pop this up real quick, that you go to the table read that is happening tomorrow in Beverly Hills. So actors, make sure that you go there, bring your headshot. Oh, where did it go? It's not letting me be great. It's not letting me be great. You see that? You guys see that? There. Table read happening in Beverly Hills on the 16th from 6 to 9 p.m. So if you're an actor, make sure that you join that. If you're a model, we're looking for models, casting call for models on Saturday, the 18th at 1 p.m. in Palm Springs. So those are the two major events I wanted to make sure you guys know about. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Everybody have a wonderful week. Bye.
One of the secrets to exposure for your business lies within supporting Black businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is why the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce is here to connect Black businesses from the desert to the sea. Let's join hands to empower and sustain our community. By becoming a member of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, you can grow your business and increase your clientele. With our innovation, we'll generate new businesses and get new customers. And we'll connect new mindsets with businesses from across Southern California to help bridge the wealth gap. Let's connect, build, and grow together. Join us now at blackchamberofcommerce.org.